Hello, guys. How are you all? I'm pretty sure it must be so awesome. And I hope you subscribe the channel, you like the video, you share it with your friends. And we are going to discuss the hormone involved in human reproduction. And thanks a lot for the huge love and for a huge support. And it really means a lot. Thanks a lot, Bacha. So let's discuss our session on the hormones involved in human reproduction. So yes, I'm Rashmi Mamgai, biology NEET expert, and today we are just going to discuss this hormone, right? So obviously, whenever we talk about hormone, the first and most important gland is hypothalamus. So, bacha, hypothalamus is basically master of master gland, right? Hypothalamus that secrete gonadotrophin releasing hormone, right? कौन सा hormone release करेगा? Gonadotrophin releasing hormone, and which would act on anterior pituitary gland. तो बच्चा yes, it would act on anterior pituitary gland. और जो anterior pituitary gland है, so master gland, जो किसके ऊपर एक्ट, जो क्या सिक्रीट करेगा? गोनाडोट्रोफिन. तो इट वुड रिलीज गोनाडोट्रोफिन. गोनाडो मीन्स गोनाड्स पर, ट्रोफिन मीन्स स्टिमुलेटिंग. So hormone that would basically act on gonads, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which would act on gonads. So in case of male, ovaries are gonads. In case of female, testes are gonads, right? तो देखते हैं यहाँ पर ल्यूटिनाइजिंग हार्मोन क्या करेगा मेल और फीमेल के केस में. सो ऑब्वियसली फीमेल के केस में इट वुड एक्ट ऑन ओवरीज एंड हेल्प इन ओव्यूलेशन. So in case of female, it is known as ovulatory hormone. Yes, it is known as ovulatory hormone. Why? Because it help in the ovulation, right? Release of egg from the ovary. तो यहाँ पर क्या होगा? Release of egg. और egg भी कौन सी कंडीशन में? Secondary oocyte कंडीशन में. It would release secondary oocyte from ovary, and that is known as, because Graafian follicle rupture and release the secondary oocyte from ovary, called ovulation. So it would help in ovulation. This is something which you have to remember. And plus it maintain corpus luteum, right? It also maintain corpus luteum, which is yellow color body, and obviously formed by the mature Graafian follicle after ovulation. So left out Graafian follicle after ovulation. तो जैसे ही इसने एग बाहर निकाला रप्चर होकर, वैसे यहाँ पर ये कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. लेफ्ट आउट ग्राफियन फॉलिकल वुड बी कन्वर्टिंग इनटू कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम, राइट? सेम अगर मेल के केस में देखेंगे तो बच्चा इट इज नोन एज ICSH, दैट इज द interstitial cell stimulating hormone. So yes, in case of male, another name of luteinizing hormone is interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Why? Because it would act on testes. और कौन से सेल में testes के act करेगा? Leydig cell, which is also known as interstitial cell. तो ये interstitial cell पर काम करेगा and obviously क्या सिक्रीट करवाएगा? यहां से सिक्रीट होगा टेस्टो. एंड क्योंकि लेडिक सेल का दूसरा नाम इंटरस्टिशियल सेल है, राइट? किसका सेल है ये? ऑफ टेस्टिस. टेस्टिस के अंदर प्रेजेंट है. सो दैट्स व्हाई LH ऑल्सो नोन एज इंटरस्टिशियल सेल, क्योंकि इंटरस्टिशियल सेल पर एक्ट करेगा और क्या रिलीज करवाएगा? एंड्रोजन. सो बच्चा एंड्रोजन इज मेल सेक्स हार्मोन एंड द मेन मेल सेक्स हार्मोन इज टेस्टोस्टेरॉन. तो यहां पर रिलीज हो गया टेस्टोस्टेरॉन. आर यू गेटिंग इट? तो फाइनली टेस्टोस्टेरॉन रिलीज हुआ और यहां से ये कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम बना, राइट? सो जस्ट अ मिनट. Right, so next we would see this, right? What is the purpose of corpus luteum and what is the purpose of testosterone? तो मैं यहीं पर ही बता देती हूँ इसको, right? So let's start with the corpus luteum का क्या फंक्शन है और obviously testosterone जो सिक्रीट हुआ लेडिक सेल से उसका क्या फंक्शन है. So बच्चा see, corpus luteum basically act as endocrine gland and it would secrete huge amount of progesterone. तो you can say that कि जो corpus luteum है obviously it is present in ovary. Corpus luteum of ovary secrete huge amount of progesterone, बहुत ज़्यादा amount में progesterone, and little amount of estrogen and relaxin also. Estrogen in some amount and relaxin also in little amount. तो ये वाले हार्मोन भी सिक्रीट करेगा, राइट? एंड व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दीज हार्मोन्स? वी वुड डिस्कस इट. What is the purpose of testosterone which is secreted by interstitial cell or Leydig cell of testes? तो बच्चा it would develop, right? तो testosterone का काम क्या होगा? Develop secondary sexual organs. Apart from that, it also develop secondary sexual character. And what is the secondary sexual characters? So bacha, like beard, like mustache, like they are having this what we called very thick voice, right? Very low pitch sound. So they are having this thick vocal cord. So thickening of vocal cord is also done by this, and obviously that's why they are having low pitch sound. Low pitch sound. So these all are the secondary sexual character. Apart from that, it also help in spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis means sperm formation. Apart from that, it also help in erythropoiesis means RBCs formation. Yes, it also help in RBCs formation, right? Poiesis. RBCs formation also done by this testosterone hormone, right? So muscular growth. So bacha, yes, muscular growth. And obviously male sexual behavior, that is the libido, also controlled by it. So male sexual behavior, male sexual behavior also controlled by it, that is known as libido. So this is the function of the testosterone, right? So this is something which you have to remember. And obviously I have told you about the function of corpus luteum also, right? So this is the purpose of LH. Now we would see FSH, second hormone of anterior pituitary gland. So FSH का function क्या है बच्चा? तो obviously FSH basically act on ovaries and testes, obviously. So obviously in case of female, it would stimulate follicle development. क्या करेगा? It would stimulate follicle development. एंड फॉलिकल के अंदर एग होता है, राइट? हेल्प इन द फॉलिकल डेवलपमेंट, प्राइमरी टू सेकेंडरी, सेकेंडरी टू टर्शरी, टर्शरी टू मेच्योर ग्राफिन फॉलिकल. तो बच्चा फॉलिकल ऑल्सो एक्ट एज एंडोक्राइन पार्ट एंड इट सिक्रीट ईस्ट्रोजन. यस, तो यहाँ पर ये कौन सा हार्मोन सिक्रीट करेगा? ईस्ट्रोजन. एंड इन केस ऑफ मेल, FSH basically help in the regulation of spermatogenesis, right? So it regulate spermatogenesis. That's all, right? So this is something which you have to remember in case of the particular female. तो यहाँ पर ये ovarian follicle develop करेगा in case of female. Male के case में spermatogenesis में मदद करेगा. ये आपको याद रखना है, right? So testosterone के function we have already discussed. Now we would see the hormone of ovaries, estrogen and progesterone के function भी देख लेते हैं, right? सो ओवरीज के अगर हम फंक्शन हार्मोन्स देखेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली ओवरीज के ऊपर LH FSH ने काम किया एंड इट वुड सिक्रीट ईस्ट्रोजन एंड प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन. तो बच्चा ईस्ट्रोजन एंड प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन के क्या फंक्शंस हैं? दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? सो लेट्स डिस्कस फ्रॉम द ईस्ट्रोजन फर्स्ट, है ना? तो ईस्ट्रोजन सबसे पहले तो देखो यहाँ पर प्यूबर्टी के टाइम पर सबसे मैक्सिमम जो लेवल होता है ना ईस्ट्रोजन का, दैट इज ड्यूरिंग प्यूबर्टी, राइट? सो यू कैन सी दैट कि मैक्सिमम कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ ईस्ट्रोजन इन फीमेल इज ड्यूरिंग प्यूबर्टी. तो प्यूबर्टी के टाइम पर ईस्ट्रोजन की बहुत भरमार होती है, इट्स इन ह्यूज अमाउंट, राइट? सेकेंड, it would cyclical rise, means there would be cyclical rise and fall of estrogen in during the menstrual cycle, right? Cyclical rise and fall of estrogen during menstrual cycle. So obviously all the 28-29 days की जो cycle है, it would keep on increasing, decreasing, as we have discussed in the menstrual cycle in previous lectures. So you can see the menstrual cycle also, right? So बच्चा नेक्स्ट इज द ईस्ट्रोजन का ही फंक्शन मैं बता रही हूँ, राइट? नेक्स्ट फंक्शन इज डेवलपमेंट ऑफ सेकेंडरी सेक्सुअल कैरेक्टर. डेवलपमेंट ऑफ secondary sexual character, and obviously organs. Secondary sexual organs and characters. Character means breast development, right? So whatever, pubic hair development, you know already, right? So that development which happened during puberty time, you know. Apart from that, it also maintain bone density. Yes, it maintain bone density. How? By depositing calcium ion in bones. So obviously it deposits calcium ion. So because of this, it increased density in the density of bone in case of female, right? And yes, bacha, that's why it is also known as antagonistic. Antagonistic means it is having opposite function than antagonistic to parathormone, right? Parathyroid hormone. Because parathyroid hormone basically release calcium from the bones, right? And it is depositing calcium in bones. So they are basically antagonistic in nature. And that's why when the female reaches menopause, when the estrogen level go down, so obviously female are more susceptible for osteoporosis. Her bones become so much fragile, so much weak with the aging, with the menopause, right? So that you have to remember. And obviously estrogen is secreted by corpus luteum in little amount, and ovarian follicles also secreted. So these two structure in the ovary secrete estrogen, that you have to remember. And plus estrogen also help in proliferation, means division of endometrium wall of uterus, right? Endometrium wall of uterus. And this is so important point that you have to remember about the uterus, about the endocrine, right? So means estrogen. So these are the purpose of estrogen. That's all. Now, what is the purpose of progesterone? So, bacha, when we discuss about progesterone hormone, so obviously it is secreted by corpus luteum. Secreted by corpus luteum. And obviously, what is the purpose of progesterone? So it maintain thickness of endometrium wall. Bacha, it maintain thickness, right? So that's why it is known as pregnancy hormone also, because it is high during pregnancy to maintain the thickness of uterus wall. Maintain thickness of endometrium wall, and that's why called pregnancy hormone. That's why called pregnancy hormone. Plus, bacha, it also help in development of alveoli of mammary gland. So, you know, growth of mammary gland is done by estrogen during puberty, and development of alveoli of mammary gland, where milk is secreted, is done by the progesterone during puberty, also during pregnancy, right? And apart from that, it suppress the release of LH hormone. So it is also known as anti-ovulatory hormone. Why? Because maximum progesterone suppress the secretion of LH. Why it is known as anti-ovulatory hormone? Because it suppress secretion of LH. Very important. Secretion of LH. So these are the purpose of progesterone, right? And बच्चा estrogen के बारे में एक चीज और है, that is it is the cholesterol lowering agent. So that's why female are less susceptible for the heart attack, right? Because it is the cholesterol lowering agent. It act as the cholesterol lowering agent also. So this estrogen have many purposes. Plus development of mammary gland during this time, during the puberty, also done by estrogen. So very specifically, I have written these terms which you have to remember for your exam, right? So bacha, next we would see the placental hormone. Yes, we are having the placenta during pregnancy. So placental hormones अगर हम देखेंगे तो one first hormone of the placenta is the human chorionic gonadotrophin, right? The human HCG, chorionic gonadotrophin. and this is the pregnancy hormone. Only during pregnancy it is seen, and obviously when somebody want to check if the person is pregnant or not, so they go for the check of the HCG, right? So for this there is a test to check this particular hormone known as Gravindex test, and this test is for checking this HCG to confirm pregnancy, and obviously if it is positive it gives the confirmed pregnancy report. Right? So that is how it works. And what is the purpose of HCG? So bacha, it maintain progesterone level during pregnancy, because I have told you progesterone is the very important hormone in case of pregnancy, obviously, because it maintains thickness of the uterus wall, right? So maintain progesterone level to maintain pregnancy. So that is the purpose of HCG, right? Next hormone which is secreted by placenta is HPL. That is the human placental lactogen. Placental lactogen. Or we also called it human chorionic somatotrophin. Somatotrophin. That is HCS. So human chorionic somatotrophin, human placental lactogen, इसी को ही बोलते हैं, right? And what is the purpose of HPL? तो बच्चा it would basically develop mammary gland. Lactogen से ही समझ में आ रहा है lactation के time, मतलब pregnancy के time पर mammary gland को develop करवाएगा, right? So you can say that development of mammary gland. Development of mammary glands for lactation. Apart from that, it also increases protein synthesis for development of baby, right? And apart from that, it also decrease use of glucose by maternal cell. तो अब मदर के सेल जो हैं वो क्या कर रहे हैं? ग्लूकोज यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो वो ग्लूकोज अगर मदर के सेल यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं तो क्या करेगा? एंड इंक्रीज ग्लूकोज इन ब्लड. तो ब्लड में ग्लूकोज बढ़ जाएगा. वाई? इंक्रीज इन ग्लूकोज इन ब्लड फॉर अवेलेबिलिटी, सो दैट इट वुड बी अवेल इट फॉर developing embryo, for fetus development or embryo development. So that is the purpose. And obviously glucose level little bit higher in the blood during pregnancy. So this type of temporary increase of glucose during pregnancy known as diabetic gestational diabetes, right? So gestational means during gestation period, right? Gestational diabetes. Yes, so it is known as gestational diabetes. Diabetes means increase in glucose during the time of gestation period, right? And obviously it is basically antagonistic to insulin, because insulin को negative feedback दे देगा and blood को glucose में बढ़ा देगा. So glucose को blood में बढ़ा देगा just to avail glucose for fetus development, जिससे कि fetus को energy मिलेगी, right? C hormone secreted by the placenta is relaxin. ये important hormone है, right? And relaxin का काम क्या है? Increases the flexibility of cervical region during the parturition. Flexibility of pubic symphysis region. Pubic symphysis मतलब hip bone जहाँ से जुड़ी रहती है, right? वो pelvic region को खोलेगा, symphysis को flexible बनाएगा and help dilating cervix during parturition, so that कि बच्चा आराम से बाहर आ जाए, right? Dilating cervix during parturition. So that is the function. And ये सिर्फ pregnancy hormone है, तो obviously parturition. In our NCERT they have given HCG, HPL and relaxin are only pregnancy hormone. These are called as pregnancy hormone because they are involved in pregnancy. सो ये प्रेगनेंसी हार्मोन कहलाते हैं, राइट. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट प्लेसेंटा ऑल्सो सिक्रीट दिस कॉरियोनिक एड्रिनोकॉर्टिकोट्रॉफिक हार्मोन और कॉरियोनिक ट्रॉफिन, राइट, हार्मोन, राइट, कॉर्टिकोट्रॉफिन हार्मोन, बट वी डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर इट, राइट. तो मैं लिख देती हूँ, बट वी डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर इट, कॉर्टिकोट्रॉफिन. सो इसका नाम होता है कॉरियोनिक कॉर्टिकोट्रॉफिन हार्मोन, राइट. एंड इसका काम बेसिकली जो होता है, वी डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर इट दो, बट येस यू शुड नो कि इसका काम क्या है. तो कॉरियोनिक कॉर्टिकोट्रॉफिक हार्मोन बेसिकली एक्ट ऑन एड्रिनल कॉर्टेक्स ग्लैंड, और एड्रिनल कॉर्टेक्स ग्लैंड पर act on adrenal cortex gland. We know adrenal cortex gland, and obviously where this secretion of aldosterone happen. Aldosterone निकलेगा इस gland से, we know. And aldosterone का काम क्या होता है? Water and salt reabsorption, water and sodium reabsorption. And obviously this would increase the production of amniotic fluid. एमनियोटिक फ्लूइड जो है वो बच्चे के आसपास फ्लूइड होता है, दैट प्रोटेक्ट्स इट, राइट. तो ये इसका फंक्शन होता है, एंड ऑब्वियसली यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर इट. उसके अलावा एक और हार्मोन है, दैट अगेन ऑल्सो यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर इट, दैट इज द कॉरियोनिक थायरोट्रॉफिक हार्मोन, राइट. सो ऑब्वियसली इट विल हेल्प इन द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द बेबी, क्योंकि थायरॉक्सिन हार्मोन की तरह काम करेगा, राइट. थायरॉयड ग्लैंड पर एक्ट करेगा. सो कॉरियोनिक थायरोट्रॉफिन हार्मोन. सो ये सारे हार्मोन जो है बच्चा, थायरोट्रॉफिन हार्मोन्स आर द हार्मोन्स ऑफ प्लेसेंटा. यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर द फंक्शन बिकॉज ये नहीं पूछता है यहाँ पर, राइट. उसके अलावा कौन से हार्मोन्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं? प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन. सो बच्चा जो प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन है ना, इट्स अ डेरिवेटिव ऑफ अराकिडोनिक एसिड. डेरिवेटिव किसका है? डेरिवेटिव ऑफ अराकिडोनिक एसिड. एंड अराकिडोनिक एसिड is basically fatty acid. Arachidonic acid, that is 20 carbon compound, and obviously it help in vasodilation. Vasodilation में मदद करेगा, plus during parturition it help in the contraction of uterus, right? Contraction of uterus during parturition. During parturition. So that is the purpose of the prostaglandin, right? And yes, one hormone is oxytocin. तो oxytocin का काम क्या है? We know it's known as birth hormone because it help in parturition. तो ये भी क्या करेगा? यूट्रस की contraction कराएगा. तो obviously help in the contraction of uterus during parturition. यूट्रस की contraction कराएगा parturition के टाइम पर, and obviously you know what would happen. Baby would come out. And उसके अलावा that's why it is known as birth hormone. उसके अलावा जब parturition हो गया तो milk ejection करवाएगा, milk ejecting hormone. Why? Because obviously it would release milk or eject hormone milk from the mammary gland, right? So obviously eject milk. आफ्टर पार्टुरेशन बच्चे को जो भी फीडिंग कराना है, तो दिस मिल्क वुड बी इजेक्टेड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस, बिकॉज इट एक्ट ऑन द मेमोरी ग्लैंड ऑल्सो. ऑक्सीटोसिन रिलीज्ड बाय, नॉट सिक्रीटेड. सिक्रीट तो इसको हाइपोथैलेमस करता है, और सिक्रीट करके इसको पोस्टीरियर ग्लैंड के पास दे देगा, पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड के बाद स्टोर करने के लिए. सो पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड व्हेन एवर रिक्वायर्ड वुड बी रिलीजिंग इट, नॉट सिक्रीटिंग इट, राइट. तो पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड बेसिकली ये सिक्रीट करता है ऑक्सीटोसिन, नॉट रिलीज करता है ऑक्सीटोसिन. सिक्रीट कौन करेगा? तो ऑक्सीटोसिन सिक्रीटेड बाय हाइपोथैलेमस. तो सिक्रीट हाइपोथैलेमस करेगा, और हाइपोथैलेमस सिक्रीट करके ये हार्मोन दे देता है पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड को स्टोर करने के लिए. और whenever required, the posterior pituitary gland release it, right? Not secrete it. Last hormone of involved is the prolactin, and which a prolactin hormone is milk producing hormone during pregnancy. After pregnancy it would basically milk production happen, right? तो बच्चों को milk feed कराना है, तो milk production hormone, and it is secreted by anterior pituitary gland, obviously secreted by anterior pituitary gland. एंड ये क्या करेगा, मिल्क सिक्रीशन में मदद करेगा और इजेक्शन में ऑक्सीटोसिन करेगा. एंड ऑब्वियसली डोंट बी कंफ्यूज्ड बिटवीन दीज टू हार्मोन, राइट. सो ऑब्वियसली एक्ट ऑन मेमोरी ग्लैंड, एक्ट ऑन मेमोरी ग्लैंड, और मेमोरी ग्लैंड में मिल्क प्रोड्यूस करवाएगा. दैट्स ऑल. दिस इज अ मिल्क प्रोड्यूसिंग ग्लैंड हार्मोन, राइट. So bacha, that's all. This is the hormone. These all are the hormone which you have to remember in the whole human reproduction system. In case you find any doubt, you can send me on the Telegram channel. I have given the link in the description box. I hope you like the video. Share it, comment, write down feedback in the comment box. And which I'll see you all in the next class with the same Josh. And yes, what would be the next topic? You can write down in the comment box also. Bye-bye, bacha. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. See you all. Have a great day. Enjoy your day now. Bye-bye.